like, I can't remember how old I was. I mean, like I said, you know, my childhood years are like a blur, like big blobs on the screen or something like that. If you had a computer screen with all my life tales, it would be part of that blob. I remember it was a Christmas. I was like 6 or 7 years old, and my mum and dad got me a Nintendo Entertainment System with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, with a gun as well, and which was really good. And I played Super Mario Brothers, and I thought, this is so cool. And I played it for like 8 hours straight on it. I'm not kidding. And I thought it was one of the funnest experiences. And I got more and more games. Me and my brother would get like Punch Out or something like that, Nintendo. Then we decided to get other consoles like the Sega Mega Drive, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and all the way up to nowadays though, really. And I think the way, it's a form of entertainment, yeah, that you can actually be involved with. I mean, with television and films, you're just watching it. And sometimes, in some things, they may give you an interactive choice where you call in nowadays and say, which ending would you like to see, though, for this particular character or something like that. It has happened, though, on a couple of shows, and I think that's what keeps the audience really going a bit. And I think that's where YouTube comes in with that idea. But going back to the video games type thing, I think I've seen it evolve so much from like the 2D days with Mario 1 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, all the way up to the games like that's on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 that look state of the art, high definition, and I've seen so much really change with those games. I mean, I even showed you around game today. I told you that I play all different type of games. I never like to stick to one genre because I know a lot of people like to stick to their sports games or their first-person shooters or RPG role-playing games and that. And that's fine, you know, they're really, really knowledgeable about all those different type of games now. But I like to see also the way that games are presented, and I think nowadays, the good thing about with some games, with downloadable content, is that independent companies can actually go out there and get their games on a digital store and then sell it for that particular market, and then it's up to the people to decide, okay, I want to buy this game, this independent game, and sometimes though the independent games actually do a lot better than some of the games that are out on the shelf. So it makes me feel pleased. I can see different companies of how they work, and it's really, really good, and it's up to you though. So there is much more choice, whether it's like the physical thing where 1 or 2 games that are made independently could actually come out because of good download sales, and also you've got the download stuff where there's loads and loads more content. Like you can even get downloadable content for games like extra missions, extra assignments, you know, you name it. And it's evolved so much, it's turned into a big business, video games.
I just basically look at video games now. I must admit, I'm not the greatest fan. Like I think FIFA and Halo and you know, I'm familiar with those. But even then, I was playing Halo in the I don't know 2002, 2003.
Yeah, I mean, I played that one too.
And the graphics then were superb. But as the years have gone on, it's next to real life.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's like I'm saying, you know, they evolved from the 2D stuff to the high definition stuff that looks so realistic. I mean, with PS3 games, I'm absolutely astounded by the way it looks so lifelike on some of the stuff. I mean, Heavy Rain is a perfect example if you've got a PS3 because it looks so lifelike, and it's got that interactivity of story that you can decide on the endings for these particular characters. Would you like to solve the murder case and that? And it still shocks me. I mean, if you've ever played that game, when you find out who the killer is at the end, it's like, oh my god. And it's also good storytelling. Storytelling has gotten a lot better in video games in terms of like shooters and that. Back then it was just simple, just play a game, one side of the level, get to the other. You like Sonic and Mario. But nowadays it's got more in-depth stories, and I think sometimes it is actually better to have a storyline in a video game. While some of my friends would go, oh, I just want to play it just for the thrill of it.
Did that start with Tomb Raider, do you think? The story sort of side of things?
Tomb Raider could have been one of the first. I think you're right there.
Coming from someone who doesn't know anything about
I think Tomb Raider was one of the first. But I think the really first one I really noticed, like I said, was Metal Gear Solid. I mean, it was created by someone by Hideo Kojima. He is one of the best story makers in the business. He's Japanese, and he knows how to create a good story full of emotions like betrayal, honour and happiness, sadness, and that. It makes you. There was a couple of scenes in that I really sort of cried in that, and the characters you can sort of relate to, and I thought he was brilliant with his writing. I still think he's brilliant with his writing nowadays.
Just we were talking about the realism a second ago about these computer games. They're just, like I said, they're next to life, really.
Yeah.
In the media, it's been said on many occasions that video games can have like a negative effect on society, particularly young people. Are there pros and cons to video games, would you say?
There is pros and cons, and I've always been wanting to do a video just talking about this. I mean, I may actually do a video.
Now's the chance.
Yeah, this is sort of like my answers to the thing, though, really. I mean, I think the media see video games like they saw the new generation of films that were coming out. I mean, I was watching a while ago, I'm going back to the film idea, and then I'll go into the video games. There was a documentary about Scarface, which is one of my favourite films of all time, and this film nearly got banned. And so it took like 3 goes, and eventually, though, they actually got the permission to do it. One of the reasons they said, that it nearly got banned was how many bullet holes were in a clown suit. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? A clown suit? And then even they thought that as well, the producer and the director. I was like, God, these guys here who judge the films and the ratings, they must be a bunch of idiots or something like that. I'm trying not to swear though, really.
I mean, that's appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, with my channel, I definitely don't like to swear. If I was like 15 or 16, you'd probably hear me swearing all over the place. But I was like, this is really stupid. I thought this is absolutely sort of wrong in that. And I think the problem is the governments and the media only look at video games that are more relatable to life, like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, because they're more nearer, closer to home. They never look at the games like Mario or Sonic and that look more like games now. They just sort of go, nah, whatever. And then when those games get like a big 18 rating, we'll give them a media press. One of the problems with publicising any sort of film, television programme or game, and you're trying to be negative about it, the more people want to see it. They want to be engaged and go, okay, we hate this politician here, let's go against him and we'll get this game or watch this film, watch this TV programme, and then we'll just see if he was wrong about it. And some of the time it's absolutely sort of wrong in that. It's a real shame how, parents and I think, that video games are also a bit of a problem. But here's the thing, I did a study though in university, and I did it as part of my thesis or dissertation. And I found out, that it's mainly more to do with the family background. They're growing up with parents, not, would it turn me into a killer? I mean, I've played Grand Theft Auto many, many times, the different type of games, like Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and Grand Theft Auto 4. After playing it, it doesn't make me want to go, oh, I'm going to pick up my Uzi and go and shoot everybody. I mean, it's so sad about what's actually happened with some of those shootings. I mean, we were talking about earlier today with Dunblane and also what happened in the Lake District with the 12 deaths and that, which I was quite surprised I did not know about until just today. And to me, I don't think any video games were actually involved with that at all. I mean, there may be an odd case where they say, I may have played the game, but I don't think it had a full influence. I think it's to do with telling the kids the right and the wrongs of society. The problem is, I don't think education towards the home is enough. And this is where, some people may say I'm maybe a bit controversial here, but, but I think it's more to do with the family life. I mean, at least though my mum and dad tell me to say, oh, this isn't real, what you're seeing here. If you see someone getting stabbed or getting shot. But they also tell me that it does actually happen in life, as long as you know it's entertainment. And that's the great thing. I mean, there are some parents who are willingly trusting some of their kids to play these games, even if they're way too young. I've actually watched, and I think a lot of people would relate, a lot of kids would actually watch like 18 rated films when they're like 9 or 10 years old. And if they know the difference, then great. If they don't know the difference, then it could be a bit of a problem within society though in the future.
Time will tell. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it is true though, mate. It just frustrates me when, I don't want to be too negative, but it really does frustrate me when people just talk about that. And it's been going on for years and years, and yet the same people who argue that case, they're the same people every single time when they argue that case.
Yeah, it's a flourishing business though, isn't it? The video games are. It's only a tiny minority if that was the case. If people were, that tiny minority shouldn't encapsulate
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think they've ever played a video game in their lives. I reckon they've only listened to the hype, never given it a chance. Now, if they gave it a chance and they still feel a bit negative, I would respect their opinion a lot more than the person that said, no, I've never ever played Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto. And sorry though to keep on mentioning it, but those are the two prime examples that get into the media. But the good thing is though, it has died down a bit because I think they're starting to get more and more accepted. But when they first came out, they did hit a lot of controversial stories. I mean, I remember Mortal Kombat, the very first ever Mortal Kombat from back in the day. This was the game that brought in the age rating for all video games. And I don't know if this actually happened, I may be right or wrong about this. They did a stupid thing by showing a fatality on the local news broadcast. I was like, God, these guys must be dumb. And you know, if they were appropriate and they thought, yeah, they were doing some good, they wouldn't have shown that fatality. They would have shown just a normal fight before leading into that fatality. But yeah, it has gotten a bit more realistic as well, the violence as well. And I think that's what they fear. But like I say, at the end of the day, it's down to, you know, this growing up, the social issues, knowing what's right and wrong. And that is my own sort of personal opinion. And I hope you don't mind me sharing that with you today.
No, that's fine. I really appreciate, you know, your honesty of the whole thing. But you know, I get the impression now people are starting to pick up that my interviews are quite sort of straight from the heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, you know, sometimes you really want to get that view out, but then but then there's a certain point there's something that's holding you back.
No, of course.
But the good thing is though, I mean, I'm definitely going to talk about this though again, but in, you know, try and sum it up with a bit more sort of evidence. I mean, I have researched this for a long time, and I think this is probably one of the reasons why I go against government officials or don't trust the governments in general, because all they are is just men in suits who care about, okay, when's my next paycheck coming? That's all it is.
Okay. Right, listen, Barry, just to close with, obviously just to lighten things up a little bit after that heavy chat.
Oh yeah,
that's what the whole show is about. Right, I've got a debut part of the show, which is going to be called 10 Topical Questions. Now basically, it's a new thing. I'm not going to do it on all my shows, but I'm going to do it on a few.
Yeah.
And I ask 10 questions, and you give me 10 instinctive answers, like 1 or 2 line answers, just top of your head, sort of thing, kind of thing. If I say the word why, then you kind of tell me a little bit more about the answer why you've given it. Okay? So I'll ask you 10 questions straight off, and then you give me 1 or 2 word instinctive answers. Okay? Or just, you know what I mean. So see if we can just see. Well, it might be a complete disaster. We'll just give it a go.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Favourite film?
Scarface.
Favourite song?
Oasis, Champagne Supernova.
Favourite computer game?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Dream date?
Ooh, I have to get back to you on that one.
A place you must see before you die?
Australia.
Why?
Because the place is just really wonderful. It's got wonderful architecture. They also have the best fireworks in the world.
How would you describe yourself in 1 word?
Honest.
Dream job?
Video editor.
Your best holiday so far in your life?
Nuki in 2008.
Favourite animal?
Dog.
If you won £1 million tomorrow, would you quit the day job?
Yes. Anyone would. Come on.
Hold on, mastermind, isn't it? Barry, listen, it has been a wonderful and insightful day. I've really, really enjoyed your company. And Brighton, nice place to hang out. And I just want to say thank you. It's been lovely meeting you, and you've been a fantastic guest.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I really have enjoyed being here though today. I mean, it's something a bit different though, really. It's nice though to be with someone just to go around Brighton who you've never met before, and it's like being slung into the Big Brother house and you're going like, hey, how you doing? And luckily though, it's like 60 days later, bang, we're still like that.
Cheers, Barry.
Yeah, how you doing?